The federal government has reopened, but only for another 3 weeks as negotiations over a permanent solution for immigration continue. For more on this, we're joined by Congressman Richard Hudson. He's a Republican of the 8th District, and he joins us from our nation's capital tonight. Sir, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, great to be with you again, Tim. Thank you.
All right, so we have this deal in place. Why should the American people believe, after in the debate for so long over immigration, that something can magically get done in the next 3 weeks and we won't face another shutdown?
Well, it's a great question, but before this shutdown, Republicans and Democrats were regularly meeting in good faith, negotiating a compromise on immigration. Conservatives like me want to see our broken immigration system fixed. I don't think this issue of dreamers, the young people who were brought here illegally at no fault of their own, is really that big a sticking point for Republicans, as long as we deal with the underlying causes of why these dreamers are here in the first place. We don't want to solve the problem for this group only to have a whole new group here in a few years, because common sense tells you, Tim, if we take an illegal group and make them legal, all that's going to do is incentivize parents around the world from wanting to rush here to get their kids here so they can be here for the new round of legalization. So we've got to fix problems at the border. We've got to fix internal enforcement. We have to fix this broken system so we don't end up with a whole nother crop of dreamers. So
are you saying if you get the funding and the wall or whatever you're looking for on protecting the border, that you're willing to allow the dreamers to stay as with legal status?
I think everyone agrees with that, even the president, that the folks who are here ought to be dealt with compassionately. But what we don't want is to allow them through chain migration to bring in millions more folks who don't have job skills, who aren't the folks we want here, who are going to compete with Americans for jobs. We want to fix problems like the visa waiver program. We want to fix the visa lottery. Most industrialized countries give away 80% of their visas based on job skills. In this country, we give away 8% of our visas based on job skills. That makes no sense. We've got to end the lottery. We've got to start bringing in folks that we want here based on their skills and what they can contribute to our country. And, that's all we're saying.
But you said Republicans want, but was there not a hard line before that if people are here illegally, they need to go back to the end of the line? And I'm not promoting that's what should be done, but was that not the Republican stance just not a short time ago?
Well, we've had a lot of different positions. The Senate had a comprehensive bill several years ago that many of us couldn't support. We've got a piece of legislation in the House now. Chairman Goodlatte has introduced, I believe it's H.R. 4760, which deals with these issues I'm talking about. Let's build the wall. Let's put internal enforcement in place. Let's end chain migration. Let's fix this visa lottery system. It's a great proposal. It's a common sense proposal, and allows us to also deal with the DACA kids as well. And I think that's what the compromise is going to look like.
So do you not believe that's amnesty then?
Well, there's all kinds of different definitions of amnesty. I would prefer that citizenship not be at the end of the road for anyone who comes here illegally, whether it's they were brought here as a child or whether they came here on their own volition. But look, I think conservatives are open to this discussion about this particular group as long as we get the assurances that we're going to end this open border system we have today.
So for what you want in return then, are you on board with the president with funding for a wall?
We've got to have a wall. And, that doesn't necessarily mean a concrete wall that runs the entire span. It might mean we need more technology. I've been to the southern border many times. There are sections in places like the Arizona desert where what you need is more surveillance. You need more rapid response. Someone coming across the border in the desert of Arizona, it takes them 24 hours to get to a road or any civilization. A wall is nice there, but I'd be more interested in getting another drone down there and getting another Black Hawk helicopter so we can pick people up quicker. We're talking about securing the border. That's what the president's talking about, and I support him 100%.
We were talking off camera about the shutdown and the impact. You obviously, the military is an enormous deal here in North Carolina. What are your concerns when it comes to the military?
Well, look, we're in this situation of continuing resolutions because Republicans want to repair the damage done to the military over the last 8 years. We've had about 120,000 soldiers reduction in the Army, for example. The Army has 58 brigade combat teams. Only 5 of those are actually capable of going into combat. That's a huge issue. You look at our Air Force, it's the smallest Air Force we've ever had in the history of this country. We have a pilot shortage. Half of our planes in the Air Force could actually qualify for vintage license plates if they were cars. They're so old. You look at the Navy, we've got soldiers or sailors working 100-hour weeks. We've got ships that have been in ports for years because they're waiting repairs. Our military has been devastated over the last 8 years through budget cuts, and we've got to do something about that. The impasse we have today over the budget is because the Democrats are insisting that they'll only allow us to increase defense spending if we agree to balloon all the other spending, all the other non-defense spending. And so that's why we've been at a budget impasse for months. That's why we're in a CR after CR situation. My hope is we can get to a budget agreement to end this need for continuing resolutions, but we'll see.
You're obviously raising the flag on this, but why has this not been a part of the larger discussion, particularly as we look at threats with North Korea and other areas of the world?
Well, I've been talking about it. The numbers have been talking about it, but it's hard to get the attention with all the other shiny objects out there like DACA. But really, you raise the North Korea question. We have to upgrade and increase the number of our missile defense system. It is a real issue, and a lot of us have for a while that we've got to spend more money on our missile defense as well as the branches of the military.
Congressman, if you had to go to Vegas today to put money down on what happens by February 8th, what would you say?
I think we can get a deal. It depends on whether the Democrats are willing to allow us to do things we need to do to stop illegal immigration. There's obviously some sticking points. The issue you raised about what's the status going to be of folks in this dreamer category. But I think we can work through it. And Republicans have been negotiating in good faith for months. So if we can deal with the root causes of why we have dreamers here in the first place, I think we can deal with it.
Congressman, good to see you as always. Thank you for some time tonight, sir.
Thank you.
All right, time for our first break. When we return, we'll have more on the ongoing discussions about the DACA program and immigration reform in our country. We'll be right back.